It's Monday again, and we're back at it. We're on it. We're on top of it. We're all around it. We've got it surrounded. What do we have surrounded? Human suffering. Sound a little too grandiose for you? Well, get a clue. Next time you go to the restaurant, ask your waitress to bring you a clue. Because that's what we're up to here. We are up to no less than showing as many people as is humanly possible. Actually, quite frankly, well, I guess, I'll have to stick with that. Humanly possible. Showing as many people possible the light of science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition, because everybody is suffering all around the world with heartburn, with insomnia, with restless leg syndrome, with arthritis, with rheumatoid arthritis, with asthma, with fibromyalgia, with chronic fatigue syndrome, with attention deficit disorder, with depression, with whatever. Everybody is sick. Everybody has something. Chronic disease is on the rise, and it's bad. It is a big, bad voodoo daddy, and it is all around the world. Now, we do not profess to have the golden key to end all human suffering. We do not. But what we do profess, what we do bring to the table, is knowledge about medical nutrition that nobody knows and very few people access. Now, if you were trying to move a heavy object from one side of town to the other, one side of your house to the other, and you did not know about the wheel, it would be very difficult and time-consuming indeed. If you know about the wheel, nada problema. Well, that's the way that it is. A little bit of very useful, very pertinent, very poignant information goes a long, long way. And this is the way that it is with medical nutrition. Just a little bit of properly applied medical nutrition ends massive amounts of human suffering. Massive amounts of human suffering. You think heartburn's fun to deal with? You think, we had a woman on this show about 6 months ago, maybe not even. She was telling us in her testimonial that before longevity she had to sleep at night with an ice pack on her chest because the burning was so intense. The MDs had nothing for her. This is what we do. We provide therapeutics, boilerplate, foundation, medical nutrition, therapeutics across the board for everybody. No consultation necessary. No copay necessary. No blood work necessary. Foundation, boilerplate medical nutrition strategies developed by licensed physicians schooled in holistic medical nutrition. This is what we bring to the table. It's like showing people how to make fire, for goodness sake. It's like showing people the wheel. It's like showing people the lever. Give me a lever big enough and I will move the world. Give me an audience big enough and I will change the world. Because when you add simple, basic, fundamental, holistic medical nutrition, by the way, this is not the nutrition that your certified nutritionist knows about. It is not. When you do what we say, follow our advice, health comes rolling in. Is it 100%? Sometimes. Sometimes it is. Of course, you can't measure a thing like that, but sometimes we have 100% improvement in symptoms across the board, 100%. Now, most people would call that a cure, but the Food and Drug Administration doesn't let us do that. If you had any idea at all how large the conspiracy was, and it is a conspiracy, for goodness sakes, it's not even a conspiracy. It's just the way that the world is. The pharmaceutical industry, you think the pharmaceutical industry wants you to know how to make yourself healthy? You think they do that? Is it in their best interest to have you so healthy that you don't need prescription drugs? Think about that, young Jedi. And grow strong. No, of course they don't. They don't want you to know what we know. They don't even know what we know, honestly. If they knew what we knew, they would patent it and, make it a prescription medicine. They'd make minerals and vitamins prescriptive agents. You couldn't get them unless you had a doctor's prescription, which, by the way, is the way that it is in many countries in the European Union. Did you know that? You can't get real potent doses of vitamins unless you have an MD's prescription. Now, how crazy is that? That's like saying you can't get a glass of water unless you have an MD's prescription. Can't take a breath of air unless you have your MD's prescription. You've got to be kidding me. Well, that's the way that it is. Not in North America, not yet. Not if we have anything to do with it. But this is a separate and distinct conversation here, right? It's a separate and distinct conversation because what we're doing is basic, fundamental, easy, breezy, lemon squeezy. Tell people which foods are dangerous and harmful for them to eat. Encourage them, cajole them, yell at them, love them, until they stop eating these foods. Well, I don't care which way you find best. You want to yell at people until they follow your advice. You want to love people to death until they follow your advice, or some 50 shades of gray way in between. You figure it out. We encourage people to stop eating the 10 bad foods. Stop putting diesel fuel in an unleaded engine. Stop taking food inside the body that hurts the body. Smarten up. Don't do that anymore. Bad dog, no biscuit. Number 2, we encourage people to take into their bodies the 90 essential nutrients appropriate for body weight. Fill the body's nutritional tank up. Give your body the raw materials that it needs to manifest its birthright, which is optimal health. You know, your brothers and sisters and neighbors and doctors and confederates, colleagues, comrades, have convinced you that you're getting sicker because you're getting older is just the way that it is. They don't know any better. They have all agreed to this social convention. It's like before when everybody, agreed that the earth was flat. It was reality by consensus. Everybody was wrong. Or in this country when, slavery was the big deal. Oh, no, those blacks, they don't have souls. They're animals. You can treat them like animals. Well, guess what? Everybody was wrong. Well, everybody's wrong about one thing now, that, sickness and suffering is a part of life and the body is destined to fail, and that your only option is to let the MD march in. Once your body has failed, with drugs and surgery, the intention of which is not to fix a darn thing, but to manage your symptoms into submission. It's like communism. MD-directed medical treatments are like communism. Communism believes that the people are not smart enough to take care of themselves, and that it is the wise state which must control every aspect of the populace's life. So in communist regimes, you're told what you can eat and what you can't eat. You're told what you can drink and what you can't drink. You're told what to read and what you can't read. Everything is controlled 100%. 100%. Well, that's what the MDs do when you're sick. Their therapeutics are based upon the postulation, the ideation, the belief that your body does not have the ability to fix itself, that once you're sick, you're screwed. And a symptom is, difficult and hard. It's a tough thing to live with, but, you're just going to have to live with it because that's life. And so here, take this anti-inflammatory. Here, take this pain medication. Here, take this symptom-suppressive drug to manage the problem because there ain't no cure. And this is what, culturally, everybody has been told what to believe. So, we rattle our chains to celebrate our freedom. We rattle our prescription medication bottles to celebrate our health. Is that what it is now? Is that the new normal? 5 prescription meds? The average human being over age 25, I believe, is on 3 prescription meds. You got to be kidding me. Well, in the world of the blind, the one-eyed man is king, right? The one-eyed woman is queen. Well, it's time that we put an end to all of this nonsense, and because we're fed up and we're not going to take it anymore. We're sick and tired and we're not going to take it anymore. I'm sick and tired watching kids die of heart attacks on the football field. I'm sick and tired of watching kids be born autistic. 1 out of 80-something now? You got to be kidding me. I'm sick and tired of watching people get sicker the older that they get. I'm sick and tired of watching people's quality of life go right down the toilet. I'm sick and tired of watching the pharmaceutical industry grow monstrous profits, like profits that Croesus would be jealous of, on the back of your suffering. I'm sick and tired of it, and I'm not going to take it anymore. And that's why I'm with Youngevity. That's why I represent Youngevity. Because Youngevity is a way. Is it a panacea cure-all? No. It's good, sound, new-fangled, new-fashioned medical nutrition. This ain't your father's medical nutrition. You know what your father's nutrition was? Whiskey. 2 fingers of whiskey and some ice and a splash of water. Yeah, vitamins in that. Vitamins in Guinness, right? Isn't that what they tell every Irishman? Oh, just drink your Guinness. Plenty of vitamins. You get everything you need in your Guinness. Well, guess what? You don't. Unless you give your body the nutrients that it needs on a daily basis, it is only a matter of time until your body runs out of something and something breaks. And then you go to a Machiavellian, monopolistic MD. They throw a drug at it, and you do not get better, and then you are on a slow slide into death. But before death, suffering, then poverty, and then death. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a solution. Science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. Give your body a chance. Give your body a break. You want to move something heavy across the house? Use a wheel and a lever, for goodness sake. You want to bring your body back into the state of health? Use Youngevity. Because we've got your back. We have it dialed in. And we are the preceptors of real human health. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, and this is Fire Your MD Now. So, different people do whatever they do for millions of different reasons. I do what I do because I took an oath in 1991 to do my very best to end human suffering. I take that seriously. And ironically, it's not that hard to do. For goodness sake, it's like telling somebody not to go outside with wet hair when it's 10 degrees below zero. Probably not a good idea. It's like telling somebody to bundle up before they go outside. It's like telling somebody, don't pee upstream and drink downstream. It's that simple. Our protocols, our knowledge, our information is simple and unbelievably effective. And, if everybody in the world did what we did, I told you this story a long time ago, but it bears repeating. We have a gentleman in Youngevity. He's been in with us for a number of years. Very wealthy man, and he's got political connections in Washington. They actually wanted this guy to run for the Senate in Missouri. He didn't do it. But in any event, he had blood sugar issues for many years, type 2 diabetes. He got on board Youngevity for a couple of months, and guess what? No more blood sugar issues. His blood sugars are normal, and he couldn't believe it. So he calls up a friend of his in the government, very high-positioned friend in the government, tells him his story. And the guy in the government says, well, wait a minute, let me crunch these numbers. And he had the database. So he pulls out the computer, points and clicks in a couple of minutes and says, you know what? If everybody that has type 2 diabetes in the United States did what you just did, the amount of money that we would save in 1 year would balance the federal budget. That's how important this is. Oh, no, I can't believe it. It can't be that easy, Dr. Glidden. Yes, it is. Oh, no, Dr. Glidden, I can't. You're some back-of-the-bus quack. Well, no, I'm not. I'm a licensed and regulated physician. I have 25 years of clinical experience. And see, this is the wonderful thing about this approach, because you don't have to believe me. There's no reason not to. If you don't believe me, that's on you. It's not on me. But all you have to do is try it. For goodness sake, the company's got a 30-day money-back guarantee. Oh, I can't believe you're selling this stuff, Dr. Glidden. It doesn't make, I believe you so much more if there wasn't a profit motive. What? What planet do you live on? You expect your doctor to give your medical care for free? Is that what you expect? You expect the pharmaceutical industry to give you your stuff for free? Is that what you expect? You expect me to do everything for free? Is that what you expect? What land are you living in? The land of the lost. Oh, well, huff and puff, huff and puff, huff and puff. Yeah, huff and puff your way to an early grave. You want to be critical of longevity, go right ahead. It's a free country, more or less. But you're a fool if you don't at least try it. And this is why longevity succeeds. I mean, they continue to break sales records every month. They continue to make profits every year. 300% profit last year. How the heck does that happen in a stupid economy like this in the United States? Because it works. And this is our fundamental message. 90 for life for 90 days. Give it a try. Clean up your diet. Take the appropriate Healthy Start Pack, the appropriate health recovery strategy for 90 days. Tell me how you feel. If there's not a remarkable difference in your health, I'll eat my hat. I haven't eaten my hat yet. Going on 5 years now. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. Now, is everybody going to listen to what we have to say? No. Did everybody listen to Jesus? No. Did everybody listen to Noah? No. New information, is met with critical, not acclaim. What's the opposite of acclaim? Critical non-sensory. There you go. I just made up a new word. This is the way of the world. Now, you can follow the sheeple. You can do what everybody else does and follow the advice of the MDs. And like Dr. Phil says, how's that working for you? Or you can give us a try. Eliminate the 10 bad foods from your diet. You can get that list for free at my website, fireyourmdnow.com. Just scroll down until you see the link. Now get in touch with the person who told you about this radio show, because somebody told you about this radio show who was already a longevity representative. Get in touch with them and tell them you want to try the appropriate healthy pack for your health condition. The appropriate healthy pack to support and promote the structure and function of your body, to give your body a chance to optimize its structure and function. They know what it is because it's easy. And if you came across us through YouTube, if you just heard about me because you love the Internet and you like to cruise the Internet and you just stumbled upon us by hook or by crook, then go to the website, click on the link, join Team Glidden, and one of my representatives will be in touch with you immediately to help you figure out how to gain passage to the undiscovered country of science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. Terry in Virginia is up next. Stick around. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here with you. April 7th, 2014. April 7th, 2014. Welcome back to another live edition of Fire Your MD Now. Let's hit the phones. They're ringing off the hook. Terry from Virginia is up first. Hey, Terry. You are live.
Hey, Dr. Glidden.
What's going on, Terry?
I talked to you about a month ago. I've tried to call you about 4 times since, but the lines have just been, really, really full. About my problems with insomnia and possible blood sugar problems.
Yeah.
I've been checking my blood sugar. I have a meter because, they said that I had Cinemax back in 2007. And so, and then in 2011, I went to this here guy who, puts a drop of your blood under a microscope.
Yeah.
And he said that I didn't have any blood sugar issues. So, it's like up in the air.
He's an idiot. So, look, that type of diagnostic work is called dark field microscopy.
Uh-huh.
And dark field microscopy looks at your blood in a live state. Now, normally, what every other diagnostician in the world does is they'll prick your finger or they'll do a blood draw from your arm. They'll take a couple of drops of the blood, they'll put it on a little glass slide, and then they'll squish it down with another little clear piece of glass, and then they let it dry. And sometimes they'll add agents to the blood before they squish it down with the other piece of glass to help them visualize what's in there. But that process kills everything that's in the blood. It like freeze frames everything that's in the blood at that moment in time. So it's like looking at a snapshot instead of looking at a whole video, right? And that's what every pathologist in the world does. That's what every diagnostician in the world does. They look at dead blood under the scope. Now, years ago, someone, I forget the guy's name, he came up with this idea, well, let's look at live blood. That's a better idea, right? It's better to look at the video than to just look at the snapshot. You get much more information. But, of course, the Food and Drug Administration has poo-pooed this. They don't want anything to do with it. And so there hasn't been any really good research done that I'm aware of with dark field microscopy. So the people that have done dark field microscopy will look at the blood under the microscope, the live blood, and they will say that this thing that's in the blood that they see floating by equals this, and that something else that they see floating by equals that, and that's never been proven. It's never been proven that what they're seeing is chicken protein. It's never been proven that what they're seeing is this bacterium or this. It's all reality by consensus. Now, you know, in a perfect world, this would be the diagnostic test that everybody would use, because there is tons of information that's available here, but this is not going to come into the mainstream for a long, long time. So the person that you had the blood analysis done with, the dark field microscopy, their opinion about what they're looking at is based on nonsense. And, you know, maybe 25% of the time they're right, maybe 50% of the time they're right. But that means, you know, and I'm making numbers up here, I'm telling you, they do not have the diagnostic criteria dialed in with dark field microscopy. They don't. Now, they need to.
Okay.
So it's a nonsense test, Terry, is what I'm telling you.
Well, he said he was a biological scientist, and like I said, he put my blood up under a microscope slide, and then it come up on a computer, you know, my blood cells and stuff.
Yeah, I know exactly what it is. Tell him to take an enema and get his head out of his rear end, because that's where it is.
Well, he told me, you know,
you can't trust the information that's coming out of his mouth. You just can't.
Well, I didn't really think I could, you know, but I would.
So what are the symptoms that you're stuck on? I mean, what's sticking around here symptomatically in your body?
Well, I keep having problems with my sleep. Like I'll sleep a couple hours or hour, and then I'm awake.
And are you wide awake?
Yeah, sometimes I'm wide awake. Sometimes I go back to sleep. Yeah,
okay. Have you done the experiment where after 6 p.m. at night you don't have any carbohydrate, you don't have any potatoes, no gluten-free bread, no alcohol, no nothing that has sugar in it? Have you ever done that?
Well, what you wanted me to do was keep a food and sleep journal for, I think you said, a week. Yeah, so when you were waking up at night, what were you eating for dinner? Well, I eat different things, you know. I don't like to have a routine. I get bored with food. That's why I wanted you to keep the diary. Well, I have it. I kept it for a week. All right, so look, here's what I want you to do, just to make this clear, okay? Because we have to be clear, and then that way we can be concise. And when we're concise, we can get things done efficiently. All right, so when people wake up in the middle of the night and they're wide awake after only a few hours sleep, that speaks to your body's inability to process sugar efficiently. So we would assume that situation would be more pronounced, more intense, and more, frequent if for dinner you had something that had sugar in it, or that your body metabolized into sugar, like carbohydrates. So potatoes or rice or beans, or anything that's sweet, right? I mean, anything that's sweet at all, or if you had dessert when you had dinner or whatever. So you want to reference the list. You want to look to see if that, in fact, was the case for the nights that you woke up in the middle of the night. And another thing for you to do, Terry, another little kind of in-house experiment, for 7 days in a row, after 6 o'clock at night, after 6 p.m., the only thing I want you to eat is protein. And you can have fat. You can have protein and fat, but I don't want you to have anything else.
So you can have some chicken, you can have a piece of fish, you can have a hamburger, you can have a steak, you can have a hot dog. But that's it. I don't want you to have fruit. I don't want you to have vegetables. I don't want you to have rice. I don't want you to have potatoes. I just want you to eat protein. No wine, no alcohol, no soda pop, no dessert. Zero tolerance for anything sweet after 6 p.m. for 5 days in a row, and look to see in that time frame whether or not you start sleeping through the night. Have you ever done anything that extreme?
No, and I can see from what you're telling me that I have been doing what you said I've been doing. Plus,
yeah. So, all right. So now we're on to something, right?
Christmas. Yeah, and plus, my pets, they sleep in my room, and they keep me up, and my brother, he's up and down, and there's a lot of things into play here, and I've been checking my blood sugars in the mornings, and the readings are between 90 and 100.
Well, that's fine. I got no problem with those readings in the morning. Those are pretty good as far as I'm concerned.
Like 2 times a week that I check it. Is it often enough?
Yeah, that's plenty time enough. But, the fact that you're waking up in the middle of the night, that's not good, and that's not normal. Now, another thing that you can do in order to try to maximize this is kick the damn pets out of the room. Have them sleep somewhere else. They'll get used to it. And you want to completely darken the room. And if you can't completely darken the room, pull the shades, pull the blinds, put stuff up on the windows. I don't even want an ounce of moonlight coming through the windows. Zero. I want you to turn the clock off so there's no light from the dial of the clock. I mean, I'm serious. No light whatsoever. And if you can't do that, because of the way that your house is set up, the way that your room is, then get one of those little masks that people wear, when they go to sleep, like on planes, to keep all the light out. Because exposure to the light, even through your closed eyelids, will mess with your sleep and waking cycle. Yeah. And so one thing you can do to maximize your body jumping on the sleep train is to completely eliminate exposure to any extracurricular light. So, get one of those little masks, do that. Clean your diet up.
The light has been a problem. And also, I run out of my supplements. I haven't been doing the math. I've just been guessing, and then I'll run out, and then it's like 3 weeks before I can get any more.
Yeah, you got to.
So I'm up and down with the supplements.
Well, that's not going to help either. So there's this stuff called auto ship, Terry. Right? You just get on auto ship.
Okay.
And dial it in. Hey, listen, you're the greatest. Take my advice. Move along. I have to move along. We have a full set of phone calls today. I appreciate you, Terry. Let's go up to Canada now and talk to John about a head injury. Hey, John, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
It's great to talk to you, Dr. Glidden.
Thanks for calling, John. What's up?
I just want to start out saying that I heard you and Dr. Wallach in Calgary a week ago Sunday.
Oh, yeah. And what'd you think?
Well, when I say heard, my daughter attended, and I was here in Whitehorse, and she played or had her phone on the whole time. I thought it was fantastic.
Don't you love high tech? Isn't that great?
It has its place.
Yeah, right. It does have its place, yeah. When it works, right?
When it works. I'm calling because it's not working.
So, hey, well, I'm glad you found us by hook or by crook. The information that we have here is really often pretty enlightening to people.
Very much so. I've been listening to your show for quite a while.
Well, I'm glad that you're kind of among the intelligentsia now, and so I appreciate your support. And how can I help?
Well, 18 months ago, I fell 22 feet off of a roof onto a nice pile of rocks.
Man!
I decided to land on my face and my hand.
Oh, man.
And I crushed my face, and my right hand was twisted 180 degrees, pointing back towards me.
Holy moly, that's going to screw with your golf game.
It kind of does. As a carpenter, it really ruins the hammer hand.
Wow.
So the head problems, as far as landing on my face, I don't have any balance. It's not vertigo. It's literally I don't have any balance. My eyes don't track with my head when I move my head. So I'm now walking with poles.
Yeah.
I have a loud ringing in my ear.
Yeah.
I've stuttered, which I've never done before.
Yep.
My short-term memory is gone. I can watch a movie and not remember any of it.
Yeah.
The pathetic part is workman's compensation affairs sent me to a psychologist for my head, And in the first 5 minutes, without a lie, he wanted to prescribe antidepressants.
Yeah, unbelievable.
He looked at me like I was from Mars when I said, I know we can fix this without any drugs. And it was the last time I saw him.
Well, you know, I was treating a woman years ago in Massachusetts, and she came in to see me. She'd had a diagnosis of cancer, and their conventional treatment wasn't working, and she wanted to know what she could do to support the structure and function of her body, and I told her what to do. And she said, oh, by the way, as she was leaving the office, she said, can you help my husband? He's been prescribed antidepressants. And I said, well, is he depressed? And she said, no. The doctor that was treating me prescribed antidepressants for my husband over the phone because I had cancer, and the doctor just assumed that my husband was going to be depressed because of my diagnosis. And this is how crazy it is, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean,
well,
it
gets better. As far as my hand is concerned, because of the fall, I have plates in my hand, and I've developed what the doctors are calling chronic regional pain syndrome.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. Yeah.
CRPS, some kind of nerve damage.
Yeah, well, it's from the plate that's in your hand shouldn't be there, and ostensibly it's rubbing up against the nerve, screwing things up. John,
80% function in the hand. Oh, you go ahead.
Hard break here. Stick with me. I'm going to dial everything in for you when we come back. Appreciate your trust. Appreciate your patience. Now let's do what we can to get your health back. Stick around. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. This is Fire Your MD Now. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Monday, April 7th, 2014. Finishing up the first hour with John from Canada, who fell off of a roof onto his face, and he hasn't been the same since. So here's the deal, John. What's your current body weight?
203.
All right. So our basic supposition here, which is correct, which is founded on logic and clinical experience, it's the true practice of medicine, quite frankly. That speaks to the notion that the body has a remarkable ability to fix itself. Right now, there is a point beyond which you can't recover. You just can't. I don't know of anything that's going to grow a finger back, but notwithstanding that, nobody knows where the point of no return is for the chronicity of symptoms from an acute accident like this. So all that we're going to do is keep our fingers crossed, give your body 120% of the nutrients that it needs to fix itself. Stop eating food that's coming up the works, keep our fingers crossed, and see how far back you bounce, right? So now, the MDs, of course, have no clinical experience with anything other than drugs and surgery. So from their point of view, you're a lost cause. You're just going to be on oxycodone for the rest of your life, right. Then morphine, and then, they've kind of written you off, right? And so it's nonsense.
They told me that I will not improve and I'll likely get worse. That's their quote.
Isn't that just great? Yeah, thank you very much, Doc. You're the greatest.
I don't believe them.
Well, you shouldn't believe them because they don't know what they're talking about. I mean, they're like colorblind art critics who don't know that they're colorblind, and they have no problem doing critiques of art, and they're always wrong. And when they're wrong, they don't look to their own house. They don't remove the splinter from their eye before trying to remove the log from somebody else's. They blame everybody else. Can't be the doctor. It's got to be you, right? It's your fault. You had the bad gene. You took the fall. You should have been more careful. Just suck it up and suffer and die. It's nonsense. Okay, so of course, the symptomology that you're experiencing all speaks to musculoskeletal trouble, and so we need to go out of our way to support the musculoskeletal system of your body and also brain, right? Because, your memory loss and short-term memory loss secondary to a concussion, a fall on your face, I mean, that's a big deal. So it's relatively simple and straightforward program. So the recommendation is there pain? Is pain a persistent problem here?
Pain. To the point that they want me on oxycodone and all these other nasties that I refuse.
All right, good. So here's my recommendation. It's going to be 2 anti-aging healthy start packs. But I want you to do the original formula, not the 2.0.
Okay.
not the healthy body. I want you to do the original healthy bone and joint pack. I want you to do 2 of those a month. 2 of those, please. 2 healthy bone and joint packs, original formula. 4 bottles of selenium, 4 selenium per month, and 1, 2, 3 bottles of Z-Radical. 3 bottles of Z-Radical, 4 bottles of selenium, 2 healthy bone and joint packs per month. Plus, of course, you have to eliminate the 10 bad foods. Eliminate the 10. All right, good. Now, it may be beneficial for you to start to eat a diet that's extremely high in cholesterol.
Absolutely. Done that too.
Okay, great. Now, there's a homeopathic medicine that you can use for 14 days to see if it doesn't help with the memory loss. It's called Natrum, N like Nancy, A, T like Thomas, R like Roger, U, M like Mary. Natrum sulfuricum, S like Sam, U, L, P, H, U, R, I, C like Charlie, U, M. Natrum sulfuricum. Homeopathic Natrum sulfuricum. Please get that in the 1M strength. That's M like Mary. And take 2 pellets twice a day for 14 days. 2 pellets orally twice a day for 14 days. Look to see inside of that 14-day period whether or not there's anything remarkable that happens with your memory or any other cognitive things that you're aware of, like the stuttering, right? That's a neurological thing secondary to the acute fall. Now, if you do get a remarkable positive punch in 14 days, you stop taking the homeopathic. If it's remarkable. If it's slow and steady, you keep taking it for the full 14 days. If you don't feel anything, you keep taking it for the full 14 days. And give me a call back around week 14, John. I'd like to follow this up with you. God bless you. I'm glad you found us. Now go out there and give your body a chance to bounce back. We're cooking with gas today, ladies and gentlemen. Gareth from London is up next at 6 after the hour. Stick around.